Yes, a very good afternoon and welcome to Docklands Stadium, live and exclusive on Fox Sports this afternoon, the big quarter-final clash. It's the Blues and the Hawks. Should be an absolute ripper. These two sides full of youngsters, of course. 6 top 10 picks over the last 6 years for the Hawks, 7 top 10 picks for the Blues, and there's some youngsters amongst them that really will shine today. We look forward to that, of course, and of course down on the boundary, the full commentary team led by Jared Healy. I believe, Jared, it's your 48th birthday today. Happy birthday and welcome.
Good on you, Barge. And great to have you on board the Fox Sports team. Of course, I'm down here with two of the legends of the game in Danny Frawley and, of course, Rowan Smith. Boys, I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, I am too, Jared, but happy birthday, by the way. Magnificent. Yeah, the Blues was outstanding against the Kangaroos last week. And Hawthorn, Melbourne should have won that game of football. As you see the Blues run out behind us, Smithy. But the experience in the end, Hawthorn against Melbourne last week, it'll be a cracking game.
Yeah, that's right. And look, and Hawthorn used all their experience in the last quarter of last week, got them over the line. Jared Roughead was fantastic. So probably maybe 2 full forwards today up against each other. It's going to be a great game.
Judd was used sparingly last week, in my view, but Stevens and their midfield, Murphy, a number of their other youngsters started to show some signs, Spud.
Gibbs, throw Gibbs in there as well, Jared. Outstanding midfield. I think really for the improvement for Carlton needs to come through their defence. Young Jamison, Jared Waite's been down there for a while, Brett Thornton. I think that's their still Achilles heel, but their midfield's first class.
I like the move of Stevens down there. I think he's been tagged to death over years, and I think it frees him up. But Spud, how did you, as a former coach, view this headline that we saw in the Herald Sun during the week, where Brett Ratton has said he ain't going to take no notice of those rules?
Well, it would have been one of those interviews, Jared, where he answered 1,000 questions, and I think when he answered that one, he would have thought, I wish I had me time over again. I think the umpires will have a fair say in that, because if they only kick the ball 15 metres, the umpires will say, play on, Smithy.
Smithy, yeah. How do you assess this Carlton side? Only a couple of their players out. Cruiser in particular not playing today.
Well, they've certainly got a very strong list and a very strong side in for this time of year. And as you mentioned there before, the youngsters in Gibbs and Murphy, together with Judd and Stevens, their midfield is very good. Also with a bloke up, Brendan Vavola, who looks very big at this time of the year. He's a fantastic player. He's a pretty big target to kick to as well.
Yes, he is. They introduced a couple of kids last week, Spud, and I know you were greatly impressed by this young man, Mitch Robinson.
Yeah, number 12. Magnificent debut, Jared, last week. Picked 40. So, and he's played a lot of senior football. He's played 11 VFL games last week, but his highlights, he made the correct decisions. He uses the ball well. But this particular passage of play, just coming up in a minute, Jared, this is what I liked about it. He put his eyes on the ball, only for the ball. He wore one for himself and the team. I think the players and Brett Ratton were absolutely wrapped in his debut last week.
4 axe handles wide across the back, Spud. Reminds me a bit of a young Frawley.
Well, it's good to see those shoulders. You've got to work hard on them, Smithy.
You've got to work hard on those shoulders. I think they come a little bit naturally too, especially he runs really well off the half-back flank too. So just find him, he might find a place down there as well.
We know that there's a number of players, in fact half a dozen or more of their premiership players missing, Smithy, from the Hawks, but still, you have a look at their lineup on paper, still quite impressive.
Yeah, they are, and look, they've got the youngest side in the AFL, and it just goes to show that they've got a little bit of depth as well. We spoke about last week that they did come back, kick 6 goals in the last quarter to just get over the line against the Demons, but you can just tell they've got a little bit of air of confidence. They did win the premiership last year, and I just spoke about Roughead before, but together with Campbell Brown and Big Brown in the ruck, I just think they've got a little bit of experience as well.
Like Mitch Thorpe as well, Danny, and I know you think this is a critical year for him.
Well, it is his 3rd pre-season, Jared. Played 1 game 2 years ago. Picked 6 in the 2006 National Draft. Played down back last week. No Franklin. I'd suggest he may even play up forward this week.
Okay.
He's 6'4". He moves well. I see Robbie Campbell's down back, so I suggest he'd probably play in Favola. But I think it needs to be a watershed year for Mitch Thorpe.
Yes, it's going to be an interesting one. Speaking of the full forwards, they were both in good form, Roughead and Favola last week. If you had to pick one, Smithy, who'd you go for?
Oh, I love Favola. I just think he's fantastic, and the way that he kicks goals, I'd pick Favola.
Spud?
Roughead kicks goals also, and I think in 6 years the junior, I would go for Roughead.
Well, she's a tough decision, and this is why.
We don't stop. We don't stop. Yeah.
Fev for 9.
Got it.
Murphy to Fev, home.
1, 2, and around. Spectacularly good.
Looking down towards half forward, and Favola once more. Did those hands.
Roughead with 2 to beat and beats them both.
That's a great kick by Fev. Home and hosed.
He's been kicking them from the boundary all day.
And the Zephyr of breeze behind him. Superb.
He's guiding it through. He's got a half a dozen.
Yeah.
Rough hand. Got it.
Yeah, Ruffy.
For the win. Hawthorn are home. They've come from the dead.
Taken by Cloak. Judd runs on. He runs to the square. They won't get him now. This will be a goal. Judd wheels around, kicks it.
Hi, I'm Chris Judd, captain of the Carlton Football Club, and you're watching Fox Sports.
He's certainly going to be an important man today. There he is in the middle, shaking hands with the opposition captain in Sam Mitchell. The Hawks take on the Blues today here at Docklands Stadium. Toss of the coin is complete. Sam Mitchell has won that clearly and kicks to the right of screen. Well, Rowan Smith's down there with a young friend. Who you got with you, Rowan?
Thanks, BT. I'm here joined by, we've got Devon Maxwell, and he's the mascot for Hawthorn Footy Club today. Now, Devon, how did you go running through the banner, mate?
Good.
They didn't put too much tape on it. You got through it okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and you've got a little bit of a souvenir there. I see you've stolen a little bit of the banner.
Yeah.
And now you're running next to Sam Mitchell. I see you've got the same boots as Sam today. Did you keep up with him okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, who's your favourite player at Hawthorn? Buddy Franklin. I can see you've got that 23. Will you make sure that you barrack loudly today for the Hawks, won't you?
Yeah.
And you have a fantastic day, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, BT, so there you go. The mascot for the day for the Hawks, Devon Maxwell. Back to you.
Yeah, a great story there. Devon Maxwell, of course, involved in the Traralgon fires. His family lost absolutely everything there today, and the Hawks have invited him here today to share in what happens out there. Jared Healy and Danny Frawley are with us up here in the central commentary position. What are you expecting to see out of today, Jared? What's the thing you reckon is going to catch your process?
Well, I hope that you'll see a more competitive game than most people around town are suggesting, and that is that the Blues are going to give the Hawks a bit of a touch-up. But Danny and I were just having a look at that side. When you've got Roughhead up forward, you've got a Mitch Thorpe, Robbie Campbell's down there as well at the other end. They've still got the basis of a darn good side here, Spud.
I like their spine, and young Jamison's got a big job today for Carlton on Jared Roughhead.
Well, the winner of today's game, semi-final berth against the Cats, guaranteed $80,000 in prize money. In the middle they go. An opportunity here. Big Taylor was involved, and umpire McLaren, one of the officiating umpires today, along with Ray Chamberlain and Michael Jennings. Umpire's not wasting any time these days with the bounce. Straight in and throw it up here in the NAB Cup. An opportunity to back out of the pack there was Kennedy. Kennedy, of course, the son of John Jr. down there at Hawkland.
Great time to be a midfielder, particularly those that used to get tagged a lot, because with zone defences, a lot of people aren't getting tagged. There are the odd exception. Well, there is the odd exception, and one of them's Chris Judd, and he's got Chance Bateman running with him.
Free kick to Jacobs here, rookie listed player with the Blues. Shifts the handball, Stevens. Beautiful kick. Favola on the lead, has had strong hands. Here's Cloak, an opportunity, needs to work it off the ground. Just hitting the post. First score with the Blues.
Interesting setup at the stoppage, Jared. I watched the Carlton forwards. I was standing in a straight line, right up the middle of the ground. Hawthorn just need to be aware of that.
Moving on now, play on!
With the umpire telling the Hawks to move the ball and move it quickly. Kick backwards, so that'll be play on as well. Opportunity for Suckling to move the ball forward. Now they're out of trouble here. Here's Mitchell. Has great vision. Clearly shown there. As the Hawks from half back looking to mount some sort of thrust forward. Bateman involved. Didn't think he'd play this week with the ankle last week, but he's out there. And Mitchell still at half back. The general finds the big fella in Campbell. Here's the run of Suckling. Suckling from the wing, driving kick forward for the Hawks. First time inside 50, Campbell Brown.
He's a great player, Campbell Brown, BT. Well called. Normally plays down the back line, but no Franklin today. Alistair Clarkson's got the luxury of flipping Campbell Brown forward. Good strong kick. Great vertical leap. They're all Jared Roughhead conscious there, BT, and Campbell Brown takes the mark.
Yes, and I have heard that after football that this young man wants to be involved in the commentary of football, so just keep an eye on that one as Brown comes in a little bit left to right and just missing the big ones.
I've heard you may be helping him out, Brian. Is there any truth in that rumour?
Not true in that area, Spud, but he's certainly very keen to be involved. Not sure whether we can fit him in, Jared.
I think by the time he's ready, there'll be plenty of spots available. Now, look, definitely in Nick Stevens. I think he's a great addition to the defensive aspect of the Carlton game. I think kicking from defence is so critical, and he's one of the finest.
Roughhead, unable to hold that mark. Thornton combining with a well-drilled defence. There is that man that Jared spoke of, Nick Stevens. Kick's not one of his best, normally pretty efficient in that area. Birchall and Taylor combining. And the pressure from Carlton, the game was good. Cloak, Houlihan, under some doubt prior to the game was Houlihan. Here's McGlynn, I think it may have been, or it was Tuck. He played a very good game last week. Jared, you would have been impressed with him.
Outstanding.
Now the Hawks wind up. Suckling opens it up through the middle. There's McGlynn, and now Rioli. The dazzling Rioli to the lead of Roughhead. Did well, Roughhead, from the boundary on the left. Will he go for home? He did. Could have sent it at Campbell Brown. Not happy.
Not happy at all, Campbell Brown, Jared.
No, he wouldn't be. Would have liked that in the middle. But there's Cyril Rioli. He's one of the most explosive and impressive young men to come into the game for a long time. He's been picked up by a kid who hasn't played a senior game yet in Aaron Josephs, but that's a big challenge for the Blues.
Big challenge, but BT, what about Sam Mitchell? He's in line for over 150 possessions at the moment. He's had 6 already in 3.5 minutes of football.
Spud onto the maths early. Very nice work. And of course, Rioli out of long. It's some pretty good genetics involved in the process of building that young man. Here's Stevens, a couple of touches already.
He's going head-to-head with Mitchell at the moment. So Stevens has got 3 and Mitchell's got 6, Spud.
Oh, now.
It'll be a shootout, and you like to see that this time of year, Jared.
Good tackle. Dragged him down and got the ball across the line.
Taylor, Jacobs, here's Judd. They say he's really ready to go this year. The second possession, felt the tackle from behind, got rid of it in the nick of time. That'll be a highish one.
Thanks, Brad. Watch your tackles.
Well, on paper, the Blues look to have the superior midfield. We know that Hawthorn are missing a couple.
Sewell gets the ball further forward. A driving kick inside 50. Here's Roughhead again. 4 deep. Unable to do much there, and the kick will go with McGlynn. I think he might have got one in the back.
Been a pretty impressive start by the depleted Hawks.
Their intent's always there, Jared. Just a bit over the top here, as we see Jared Thornton very clumsy there. Just had to go a little bit lower.
Travis involved tuck there, and here is Ben McGlynn.
1 metre in front of you.
28 games so far in his career, and will be looking for a consolidating year with the Hawks this year. From deep in the pocket, not an easy one, but he made it look very easy indeed.
Very good player, Ben McGlynn. Had osteitis pubis last year. Had a stellar year in 2007. Hawthorn and Alistair Clarkson were desperately needed. Just a little bit off the ball there with Taylor and Murphy. But Alistair Clarkson will be rapt to see Ben McGlynn.
And down on the boundary line, Rowan, despite the fact that they don't run as deep, Hawthorn, their starting line up through the middle of the ground's pretty talented.
Yeah, Jerry, you were talking about their inexperience, but they've still got Mitchell, Sewell and Bateman all in the midfield, which I think it's a good thing up against, Judd, Murphy and Nick Stevens.
Gibbs there at the present time.
So they're leading Jared Roughhead, Jared. 1 out inside the forward 50. All the other Hawthorn half forwards are coming up around the centre square.
It's got to be a chance to kick 100 goals this year, doesn't he? Roughhead?
On target, no doubt. 88 last year, including finals.
I'd have both of them here today with Fowler at the other end and Roughhead. Both big chance of going the 100. Special sort of player to kick the 100 though, Jared.
Yes, you'd have to be outstanding, Brian.
Who wide to Birchall. Just forward of the centre. Mark Pade, here he is. On cue. Beautiful hands. Roughhead.
Beautiful kick, beautiful hands. The Carlton half-back line, Jared, have to be aware that they're trying to open it up for Jared Roughhead. He shouldn't be allowed to lead through there. It was a beautiful kick from Birchall. Just lowered his eyes beautifully. The oncoming Jared Roughhead there.
Great year last year. 75 goals from his 25 games. Roughhead on the left and just pulled it. Didn't have a fluent run up and a minor score for the Hawks.
We saw Aaron Joseph there on that replay. Inexperienced player. He's really concentrating on Cyril Rioli. A more experienced player would have read that play and come across and chopped off Roughhead's delivery.
Waite and Simpson. Simpson now got it all to do at halfback. Goes back to Thornton, the man that initially started that thrust forward. The Judd kick was good. He looked like he's got it off the toe a bit, but made the journey. Here's Jamison. Jamieson goes wide. Shoulder surgery recently, Jamieson, and looks like he's back in touch now. Here is that young man, Eddie Betts. A brilliant forward for the Blues. Kicks a little bit too much on it. Waited, got forward.
Poor handball.
Guerra. Now the Hawks under some pressure. How do they respond? Pretty calmly, as you can expect the rating premiers to do so, although that wasn't fantastic, was it? Now here he is, Favola. Gives it off, an opportunity for Johnson. Chris Johnson, former D, off to the left in a minor score.
Well, that was a let-off for Hawthorn. Steve Gillam, his intent was there to get the ball out of defence under pressure, but it had to have more width, that kick.
Travis Tuck for the Hawks. Incredibly poised footballers of today's modern era. You heard the umpire, not 20. Got him high. You agree with that, Jared? They're basically very poised, aren't they, the footballers of today?
Well, I think all the footballers now are just trying to wait and see an option come up, as against, I guess, 80s, 90s, and to a lesser extent the early 2000s, where getting the ball long and getting it in quickly was the preferred option.
We're all in those days just told to run forward, weren't we? Run, and run forward, and don't stop. And
make
these
it
days,
up on the way through.
Yep, quite the opposite. Stop, look first. There's Campbell.
Which I think must make it a lot more frustrating at times for forwards who act instinctively, make the space, and their one option is sometimes closed down.
Moss did well. From Super Goal territory, rough head. The kick fell short. I'm not sure it was deliberate, but he's marked at 20 out.
Very hard to defend that kick from young Moss there, but Jared Roughead, he's on the move. That's the key for any forward, to be on the move, and it's hard for Carlton. Jared was trying to double team Roughead with Jamieson, but just couldn't get there.
Spud, you said the biggest issue about Carlton was their defence. Well, right now, getting it out of defence is killing them.
The second goal for the Hawks, the first for Roughead today.
Right, Jared, and you have a look at the stats, and I know stats sometimes tell a lie, but they've had 27 disposals, Carlton, 10 kicks and 17 handballs, so it's a little bit overused, but Hawthorn make you do that. The rolling zone, etc. So Carlton, for mine, have to take the game on a little bit more. Okay, using handballs, but get them forward through the Clarko's cluster.
Well, they haven't got the ball inside their forward 50 often enough at the moment. Hawthorn have dominated. It's been played in their half. It's been inside Hawthorn's 56 times. Carlton have had it inside their 50 just a couple, and one of those times is when Hawthorn ran it back inside there.
And the depth of Hawthorn again, Travis Tuck, the leading disposal getter on the ground with 7 disposals.
Jamieson, the man on Roughead there, and Jamieson, of course, himself coming back from a shoulder reconstruction in the pre-season. Good to see him back involved at the top level. Here go the Blues. Judd again. Could have gone on the left, had time to straighten up. Favola traps it near the boundary line. Handball not great. Neither was that one. Russell was running towards goal and instead had to go back and get it, won himself a free. Fortunate let off for the Blues.
Yeah, pretty lucky. A couple of sloppy skill errors. One by Judd's foot, the other one Russell's handball.
Russell's kick this time to Houlihan, who tries to shrug the tackle. Tried to belt the tackle off, and in the end it was too strong.
They're up the Hawks, Spud.
Well, that's what you want to see. You got Jared Roughead kicking a goal. Now he's made a tackle, and it was just about a certain goal for Carlton with Ryan Houlihan. So great work there from Jared Roughead.
Here's modern footy for you. 1 minute at the full forward line, next minute at the full back line.
How often did you get down there, BT?
Just not very occasional. In fact, I can't remember ever doing that, Spud. Here's Kennedy.
I don't think you went that far on your holidays.
Dash. Forward, Campbell. Playing up the ground. Just as the ball now, Rioli. There's an example of the stop, prop, and wait. And decision. And
we'll try and square the ball up here, Hawthorn.
We've got Mitch Robinson playing as a floater in front of the full forward area.
Shields here, the youngest player playing in the AFL today, 17 years and 306 days.
He's pretty much their only concession to a zone, Spud. The rest of the Carlton players are playing man on man.
It's a big ask too for the young fella, Jared. We saw him put his head over the ball last week, but it's a very big ask for a play. Here he goes.
Clinton Young drives it over the head of Roughead this time at the back. Williams was held. Just had a little piece of him. Let's have a listen. Ray Chamberlain.
Mark Williams.
Let it go ump, they say. It was just a little tag. It was there technically.
Brett Thornton not too happy. Just have a look here in the replay. He's got hold of the jumper. That's a free kick.
Umpire might have said the same to him. Let him go.
Here is Mark Williams. Dermot Brereton once said that this man was the straightest kick he'd seen. And he has been pretty good. That one just missing.
That's a real
right opening.
let-off. Hawthorn are dominating this match at present. I think we all came here expecting Carlton to struggle for a little bit and then get across the line with their powerful midfield. But right now, the tactics of Hawthorn are really creating a real problem for the Blues.
Just no spark for the Blues at the moment. Normally, you'd expect a team of such youth to have that spark.
Well, they haven't got the handle on the ball.
Yeah.
Hawthorn had 59 disposals to Carlton's 31. Not winning any hard ball at the moment at all, Carlton.
All over it, Danny Frawley. There's Bauer. Wide, Waite. Chiseling ball, look at that. Nice, the hands, the jukes.
Better stuff. Better stuff.
It was, and that's equally as good. Beautiful kick. Cloak, as he comes immediately from the ground, he finds Bentley. Tough kick. He'll kick it from 50.
Good vision from Cloak. Could have blazed away and double teamed on Favola.
Always goes left to right from here, although he's going out on the right and giving it a good bomb. Won't quite go. You see so many footballers from that flank finish with the ball in the right-hand behind area. 12-point lead here for the Hawks with 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
He was lucky not to get a 50-metre penalty there, Brendan Favola. He was only 2 metres away from the line, and he has to be back another 5 or 6. Umpire a little bit liberal in his interpretation.
Kennedy get a free here. Will the advantage be paid? No, it won't.
Well, Hawthorn are winning all the free kicks because they got the hands on the ball. They're going lower and harder, and they want the football a little bit more than Carlton at the moment.
Shields dishes the ball off out the back, and there's an opportunity for Gillen, although under enormous pressure.
Good work.
Did really well, Jordan Russell. Simpson was running towards goal, had to go back and find the ball and couldn't. Rioli.
Skill errors killing Carlton.
Young is a very good left foot kick. This one's wide. Got a 2-on-1 here, the Hawks. Williams, an opportunity to tidy up. Inboard, the handball. Shot on goal. Touched right on the line there from Bateman.
It's far too easy for the Hawthorn forwards at the moment, Jared. You see Mark Williams lead out there. It wasn't the best to kick, but his defender was trailing by 20 metres on one of the quickest players in the competition in Williams.
Nice work from Anderson, though. He read the play well. He left his man at the critical moment and saved his team a goal.
There's Grigg.
Oh, get under that one.
Ran into a ripping tackle from Tuck.
Well, they're playing it on their terms, Hawthorn, because Carlton are playing man-to-man. They're not dropping players back, and Carlton are now orchestrating, Hawthorn are orchestrating their forward line to create holes.
Here we are, centre half forward for the Hawks.
Terrific tackle there from Travis Tuck. Went low and hard.
Palm down was nice from Hampson. Mitchell, fast hands, very nice hands. Tuck, getting plenty of it. Waite was up the third man. Bateman stole the ball, dished it off, and that's an easy goal for the Hawks. Moss.
Well, it's got a little bit to do with your intent. The intent there from the Carlton defender was just a handball, but it was under extreme pressure, and it's Hawthorn's intent, not only at the ball carrier, but their pressure here. We'll see the kick from Tuck go in. Carlton defender gets the ball in Bauer. Look, there's a very good tackle from Hawthorn, but just no intent, no desire to really get that ball 10 or 15 metres wider so they could defend it.
Good pressure from the Hawks. That's what's created it, as you said, Danny. They're winning the stoppages. Their pressure is far more hot right around the ground, and they're dominating this game.
Gary Moss, the goal kicker for the Hawks. They lead it by 19 points, 6.5 to go in the first of this quarter-final clash. The winner to play the catch, Grigg, wrapped up in the Brad Sewell tackle.
Well, the tackles are Hawthorn 8, Carlton 3.
Heap of players around the ball at the moment. Got a high one. Free kick to Moss. Here's Mitchell. Inside 50 on the header, Roughhead. Waite was there for some nice help in the air. Did it well, and on the ground equally as good, and got upended while in midair. A little unfair.
That's the first trip I've ever seen paid when the bloke was 6 foot in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Tried to jump over him hurdle style, and quite right, Jared. Below the knees, and great vision on Fox Sports. Here's Stevens. Didn't want the ball because he knew he'd be tackled, so punched it away. But no one at the ground level. Bateman was able to centre the ball, and the mark's taken by Mitch Thorpe.
They're going to get some numbers back here, Spud, just to make sure they're in the game at quarter time, Carlton. I know they're not playing zone defence, which is great because it hasn't led to too much good footy over the weekend. But the Hawks are just smashing him at the moment.
Well, the intent of the hardball, Joe, but the uncontested possession, that's hard running. 59 uncontested possessions to Hawthorn, 29 to Carlton.
How's that for coaching for the Hawks? While this shot at goal was taking place, 4 interchanges in the one go. A quadruple interchange. And here comes the young man in Mitch Thorpe. Big raps on him. Kicks that one. They've got 4, the Hawks.
It's a good start from Mitch Thorpe. Talked about him before the game, Jared, and it's a big year for young Mitch Thorpe, but good mark and sealed the deal with a very nice shot on goal.
How do you see it, Smithy? It just seems as if the Blues are flat and Hawthorn are well and truly up.
Well, Jared, we spoke about it before the game when Carlton are expected to win today with so many stars of the Hawks being out, and the Hawthorn team have really got nothing to lose. So they've just come out basically in this first quarter and just playing with a lot of confidence. They're running forward, and what's happening, Carlton are trying to zone off, but they're getting caught in between. So, you know, the Hawks are really driving that ball long into their forward line, and they're getting first use at the moment.
I don't think we ever underestimate the pressure for spots, especially in a good team that's going to play in finals. A lot of these youngsters are only rookies for Hawthorn, but they're hungry.
Great position to be in. I mentioned in the opening that Hawthorn had 6 players, Spud, in the last 6 years that were top 10 draft picks. Not bad, is it?
And they're still the youngest team in the competition, Jared. Hawthorn.
Yeah, they're going to be around for a while.
Here we are, centre forward for the Blues, and handball shovelled out to Grigg. He had to retreat and some numbers. Joseph, young boy from Tassie. Nick Stevens standing by, normally a good user by foot. This one's no exception, out wide. And the Blues able to drive the ball in the Fisher direction. Couldn't hold the mark, had a piece of it. Favola was there. Did he throw it out the back? It looked like it. The Hawks through numbers. Morton involved here. The kick needs to be precise. It was, but the mark was juggled. Allows an opportunity here for Bentley. On the right, Favola. Couldn't quite get the climb he wanted.
Well, I think they'd be disappointed in that selection from Bentley. He had 2 blokes he could have handballed to over the top, and he elected to go to a 3-on-1.
And you're right, Mitch Robertson was on his own, 30 metres out from goal. Played team football.
Bo Dowler. Campbell Brown.
Look at the space Mitchell's got here.
2 in pursuit, but they won't get off. Look at the kick, it's great. Got the one hand up there, couldn't complete the mark on that occasion. I think it might have been Thorpe. Simpson now.
Not too many Blues are running hard into defence to help out, Spud.
The work rate, that's all it is, Jared, at the moment. Work rate of Hawthorn versus Carlton.
Johnson to Judd. Judd with time. Rioli in pursuit, lovely kick. Wait now with some clear ground ahead. Couple of running bounces. An opportunity for the big man, Jacobs. I'm not sure that was the right one to be going for. Get it to the little blokes. Armfield's handball was good. Set up the Blues. Kick was a shocker. Taylor got a piece of it. Now the Hawks are open through the middle here. Sewell sees something he likes in Campbell Brown. Brown looks to take him on. Simpson missed the tackle. Showing some candy was Mitchell. The chip around the corner was nonchalant. And Brown is marked deep in the pocket.
They've got options. Every time I look up, they've got 1 or 2 options, Hawthorn. We look at the other end. Brendan Favola will flip his lid soon because he had a couple of opportunities. The Carlton midfield's around 70 metres to goal to go one-on-one Favola. When you've got the opportunity to go to your key forward one-on-one, I suggest you should do that.
Well, it all comes back to another error by foot. Jordan Russell missed the target. He was under some pressure.
Campbell Brown, difficult shot at goal, as you can see on screen there from this pocket. And he kicked it right. You have to kick it right-hand side to have any hope, and it's just a real tough kick, but he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Made a bit of a mess of it in the end.
Number 3. Thank you.
Well, they've got to find a spark here, the Blues. We know they've been up for some period of time. Last week they were quite outstanding.
Reasonable crowd in today here at the Telstra Dome for a Sunday afternoon game. Got one high, Morton. You'll get the free.
Yeah, but he was able to break a tackles going through, and that's what would disappoint Brett Ratton. Simpson bounced off him, needed to come in low, use his legs, not his arms. 2
tackles in a row from Simpson that haven't stuck. Here is Campbell Brown, flies over the head of Waite. Didn't want to concede then, Waite. Would have in a normal game had the rule not been there. Here's Rioli. Kept it alive. Tuck. This way, that away, back to Guerra, who favours his left. And missed. Just 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 25-point lead at the moment with the Hawks.
Shoot, that's out.
Well, they manned the mark better than any other team in the competition. Morton was there. Carlton had the ball. He manned the mark. He forced that ball to go out in the full there.
But one of the hardest things to do, I'm sure, as a coach, is to, I guess, inspire a side that's flat. Now, Carlton are flat. Hawthorn are flying. How do you get them up?
Well, you need to go to your leaders pretty soon, Jared, and say, put your head over the ball, because we're not winning the hard ball at all. We're not running well enough. OK, we'll work on the run later, but let's get someone to show some unconditional attack at the contest.
Rowan Smith, I noticed Campbell Brown came off as a limp. What do you reckon?
No, he's fine, BT. He's just come off with a little bit of a... he's just been talking to the doctor, so I'll keep an eye on it, but he looked OK.
Here's Cloak with an opportunity, but a big man to beat 3 or 4 Hawthorn small defenders. Always a tough ask. Selling some candy there was Shields. Upended was Suckling.
At least there was intent there from Favola.
Here is an opportunity for Mitch Thornton to come in and tidy things up, and Houlihan to Cloak, and Cloak marks on the chest directly in front. Minute to go in the first, and a much needed one.
Good move here from Brett Ratton, putting Cloak down forward just to take the pressure off Favola and get another avenue for goal. So desperately need to lower your eyes, and what better player to have it in the hands of Ryan Houlihan. He's a magnificent kick.
Travis Cloak taking plenty of time. In fact, I reckon he'll be called in a minute if he's not careful.
20 seconds go on the clock. Trevor, okay? Cameron?
And here umpire McLaren saying him 20 seconds gone. Must start your run up before the 30-second period expires. Cloak got the first for the Blues just before quarter time.
Desperately needed that goal. It's an understatement. He's a much improved player, Cameron Cloak. He needs to go forward and kick his 25 goals this year just to take the pressure off Brendan Favola. It's antiquated to expect your full forward just to dominate your goal scoring on the scoreboard now, Jared. You look at all the great teams. Even last year, Hawthorn had Franklin, Roughhead, Rioli, Mark Williams, Campbell Brown. You need options.
But they had to win the footy, and I think it was Robinson that's poked out that first handball to get them going. And that's what you said, Danny. They had to win the contested ball and get it going.
And that's what Brett Ratton should use at quarter time, Jared. You talk about how to inspire. Get one of your youngsters in Mitch Robbins, say, the reason we got that ball, because he was prepared to put his head over the ball.
Taylor in contest with Hampson. No real winner from the ruck contest. Here the umpire telling the players to knock it out or he'll be all over you. And once again, an opportunity for the Hawks. Tuck. Another good first quarter from him.
11 disposals, BT.
Very nice indeed, Spud. Roughhead gives it off to Kennedy around the corner. Got a good bounce, Kennedy. And the Hawks, immediate response right on the quarter time siren.
Well, this has been a fantastic start by the Hawks. Just having a look at some of the stats. Murphy, Gibbs and Simpson, 3 their major ball winners. The Blues have had 4 possessions between them. They've had enough game time to have more impact on that, but you couldn't be more praiseworthy of this effort by Hawthorn, who have out to a 25-point lead at quarter time.
Very, very nice work by the Hawks. The Blues have got it all to do. We'll be back live and exclusive on Fox on the other side of the break.